I am a part of Ascend, which is the largest Pan-Asian professional network in the country with over 80,000 members. And I attend webinars, and we got Chinese New Year coming up in a couple of weeks. I'll be celebrating that. That's kind of who I am.
So, psychological safety, what that means is that you've created an environment in your workplace where people can feel free to share their ideas openly without any fear of rejection, humiliation, or anything that would be punitive. Why is it important? If you think about, what the value is of having a very diverse workforce, right?
Of course, I am of color, what we call white man's world here in North America. Growing up in New York, where there was a melting pot of people, but every now and then you tend to get stereotyped, and then you end up having to prove yourself as an Asian American when it comes to like choosing sides in the playground. Somehow the Asians always end up getting picked last because we're not supposed to be good in sports, right? I think somebody once said Asians should not be playing in the stadium; they should be designing them. And since then, I had a chip on my shoulder.
There's a lot of these investment banking firms that have really, really tried to recruit, people of color into the organization. But however, once they get in there, they start looking around and they realize there's not too many people like them. And then quickly they leave. You hire a black female into the trading floor. She may, do a great job, be very talented, but is she invited to the bar afterwards, right? Is she invited to the golf course afterwards? Probably not. And then you start thinking about, well, does she feel alienated now because she can do a great job at work, but she doesn't really feel like she's part of the company's culture? You need to have people who are willing to draw and invite people, ask questions with good intentions, seek understanding. And then hopefully, over time, that people start feeling safe, people start staying, and then they recruit other people, and then eventually we'll have a very diverse workforce. When I first started in corporate America, I worked for a large bank, and I remember clearly, like on day one of orientation, our CEO came in and he said, "Diversity makes sense. We have to reflect the colorization of our customer base." And I saw myself being able to ascend through management because there were people already there that have broken barriers that really, set the tone for me. And I've spent 16 years there.